Food and Beverage Services, Lesson Information 1.4. Our topic is setting up table appointments in the dining area. Definition of technical terms. Table setting. It refers to the way in which the table appointments and food are arranged on the table for dining. How the table should be set depends on the style of service to be used, the menu to be served, the size of the table, and the available table appointment. Table appointments. These are table implements or utensils that are used for dining and serving, which includes the flatware, dinnerware, glassware, hollyware, and linens. Cover. A cover is the space required on the table for table appointment per one person to partake of a meal. This is considered as the smallest unit in the table setting, approximately around 24 by 15 inches. An imaginary line may be drawn to define the cover about 1 to 1.5 inches from the table edge. Place setting. It is the arrangement and the way to set a table with tableware and for serving and eating for a single diner. Factors such as the menu or type of food to be served, the size of the table, and the style of service largely determine this. Table accessories. These are items essential to complete the table setup, which include salt and pepper sets or shakers, cruets, ashtray, flower bases, and tent menu. Rules in laying covers or table setup. Rules in laying covers or table setup. Setting up all table implements or appointments to be used in the restaurant is very important. Proper location and principles in setting up must be considered to emphasize its usefulness and ease of dining in the restaurant. General rules for table setting. First, before setting the table, ensure that the chairs and tables are in their best condition and correct positions. The tabletop should be clean and the table is level and not wobbly. Second, always consider the convenience and comfort of the guests in placing the table appointments. Third, be creative and artistic in setting the table, but make sure it will not contradict the principles in table setting and be careful not to overcrowd the table. For formal setting, the table on which the tablecloth is to be spread should be the first covered with silence or base cloth, for the following reasons: to protect the diner's wrists and elbows from the table's sharp edges, to keep the tablecloth firmly in place, to protect the surface of the table and prevent rattling of the crockery and cutlery, and to absorb moisture in case liquid spills on the table. Number 5, carry equipment to the table on clean trays or service plate. Handling dinnerware by the edge without touching the surface, glassware by the stem or base, and flatware by the handles. Number 6, sanitize, check, and set aside damaged and soiled appointments. Crockery and cutlery should be spotless clean, and the glassware should be well polished. Cheap or cracked equipment should not be used. Number 7, the establishment monogram or logo should be visible to the guests. And number 8, each cover should be well balanced, and it should be observed ideal space for a cover. The opposite side should be exactly similar so as to give a well-balanced look. General rules of laying table appointments or implements. First is a centerpiece. When deciding on a table centerpiece, keep it low. If a bad base is used as the central decorative piece, it should not be very large or tall as that obstructs the view of guests sitting opposite each other. The table decor should be reasonably low so that they do not obstruct guests' vision. Heavily scented flowers should be avoided as they affect the flavor of the food. Table linens. Table linens are spread evenly on the table and laid properly according to standard procedure. The central fold of the tablecloth should be in the middle of the table and all the four edges should just brush the seats of the chairs. White and plain pastel linens are used for more formal occasions but not mandatory, and usually patterned or colored tablecloths are used for casual dining. The only rule is to make sure those linen patterns and china patterns don't clash. Number 3. Collect correct size of the tablecloth for the table to be cloth, and the linen should be free from holes and stains, well ironed and used without creases. Number 4. Silence pad or base cloth is used for formal setting, and it should be placed evenly on the table so that the edges do not hang down below the tablecloth. Number 5. Tablecloth is laid over the silence pad or directly over the table. For formal tablecloth, 16 inches to 24 inches for both the length and the width for the drop is required. Then for informal tablecloth, fewer drops, usually around 10 inches to 15 inches, are suggested. Number 6. Placemat is set up when the table is not covered with tablecloth. It is placed at the center of the cover. And for number 7, linen napkins should be folded elegantly and placed in the center of the dinner plate. For dinnerware, chargers or dinner plates should be placed on the table first at the center of the place setting. The bread and butter plate are placed left of the cover, directly above the tines of the dinner fork. Do not place items such as coffee cups, teacups, and dessert plates on the table as it crowds your guests. It is appropriate to bring those items to the table after the main course has been cleared and the dessert is served. For dessert plates and coffee cups or teacups will be set up after dinner. If a fork is to be used with dessert, this will be placed on the dessert plate. A dessert spoon should have already been set above the dinner plate. For beverageware or glassware, water glass or goblet is placed at the right of the cover, 1 inch above the tip of the dinner knife. Wine glasses are placed to the right of the water glass, either in a straight line or in a triangular fashion. No more than 3 glasses are allowed on the table at one time, in exception for the table d'hôte or preset menu. Additional glasses may be placed after the used ones are removed. For table accessories, sugar bowls and salt and pepper shakers are generally placed in the center of small tables, but when table is large, several sets are needed. Cruet sets, butter dish, an ashtray, meal accompaniments, and a bud base should be placed in between the covers at the center of the table. Coffee or tea must go with sugar and milk or creamer. Salt and pepper shakers are placed adjacent to the centerpiece. Ashtrays are placed at the center of the table. For flatware, flatwares are to be placed in order of use. In other words, the diner will start at the end and work his way in. The first course will use silverware farthest from the dinner plate, while the last course will utilize the silverware closest. Handle flatware or cutlery without touching the eating surface, perpendicular to the table and 1 inch from the edge of the table, so that the handles are lined up and should be arranged according to the courses. No more than 3 any flatwares are ever placed on the table, except when an oyster pork is used in addition to 3 other porks. If more than 3 courses are served before dessert, then the utensils for the 4th course is brought in with the food. Likewise, the salad fork and knife may be brought in when the salad course is served. Forks are placed to the left of the cover with the tines pointing up. Knives are placed to the right of the dinner plate with the cutting edge of the blade toward the plate. Technically, one should only use knife if one is cutting meat. However, up to 3 knives can be placed on the table in order of use. Spoons are laid with bowls up at the right of the cover. Dinner knives and forks are laid about 11 to 13 inches apart so that the dinner plate may be easily placed between them. Oyster and cocktail forks are placed at the extreme right of the cover after the spoons. Dessert flatwares are not normally on the table unless the number of flatware is small, in which case, they are placed at the top of the cover with the handle of the dessert spoon towards the right of the cover and handle of the dessert fork towards the left of the cover. Butter spreader may be placed across the top edge of the butter and bread plate, in a parallel line with the table, or across the right side of the bread and butter, placed perpendicular to the table edge. For coffee spoons, it should be placed on the saucer. Coffee or tea mugs are not used for formal dinner. As a general rule, the placement of utensils is guided by the menu. The idea is that, when laying the utensils, place it in an inside-out order. Most of the time, complete meal courses follow this meal pattern. First is appetizer or starter or hors d'oeuvre. Second, soup, then followed by salad, then the entree or main course, and finally the dessert. A time to remember. This is Maylene Huliganga. Thank you for watching.